first signpost came after that marvelous day I went hiking up the canyon road again to the highway at the bridge, where there was a rancher mailbox where I could dump mail. A letter to my mother, and saying in it, "Give a kiss to Tyke, my cat," and a letter to old buddy Julien, addressed to Coley Rustnut from Runty One Nut. And as I walked way up there, I could see the peaceful roof of my cabin way below, and half-mile away in the old trees could see the porch, the cot where I slept, and my red handkerchief on the bench beside the cot. A simple little sight, with my handkerchief a half-mile away, making me unaccountably happy. And on the way back, pausing to meditate in the grove of trees where Alf, the sacred burro, slept, and seeing the roses of the unborn in my closed eyelids just as clearly as I had seen the red handkerchief, and also my own footsteps in the seaside sand from way up on the bridge, saw or heard the words, "The roses of the unborn," as I sat cross-legged in soft meadow sand, heard that awful stillness at the heart of life, but felt strangely low, as though premonition of the next day. When I went to the sea in the afternoon and suddenly took a huge, deep, yogic breath to get all that good sea air in me, but somehow just got an overdose of iodine or of evil. Maybe the sea caves, maybe the seaweed cities, something. My heart suddenly beating, thinking I'm gonna get the local vibrations. Instead, here I am almost fainting, only it isn't an ecstatic swoon in St. Francis. It comes over me in the form of horror, of an eternal condition of sick mortality in me, and in everyone. I felt completely nude of all poor protective devices like thoughts about life or meditations under trees and the ultimate and all that shit. In fact, the other pitiful devices of making supper or saying, "What I do now next, chop wood," I see myself as just doomed. Pitiful. An awful realization that I've been fooling myself all my life thinking there was a next thing to do to keep the show going, and actually I'm just a sick clown, and so is everybody else. All of it, all of it, pitiful as it is, not even really any kind of common sense animate effort to ease the soul in this horrible, sinister condition of mortal hopelessness. So I'm left sitting there in the sand after having almost fainted and stare at the waves, which suddenly are not waves at all, with, I guess, what must have been the goopiest, downtrodden expression God, if he exists, must have ever seen in his movie career. Vash. I hate to write. All my tricks laid bare. Even the realization that they're laid bare, itself laid bare, as a lot of bunk. The sea seems to yell to me, "Go to your desire, don't hang around here." For after all, the sea must be like God. God isn't asking us to mope and suffer and sit by the sea in the cold at midnight for the sake of writing down useless sounds. He gave us the tools of self-reliance, after all, to make it straight through bad life, mortality, towards paradise. Maybe. I hope. But some miserables like me don't even know it. When it comes to us, we're amazed. Ah, life is a gate, a way, a path to paradise anyway. Why not live for fun and joy and love, or some sort of girl by a fireside? Why not go to your desire and laugh? But I ran away from that seashore and never came back again without that secret knowledge that it didn't want me there, that I was a fool to sit there in the first place. The sea has its waves, the man has his fireside. Period. That being the first indication of my later flip, but also on the day of leaving the cabin to hitchhike back to Frisco and see everybody, and by now I'm tired of my food. Forgot to bring Jell-O. You need Jell-O after all that bacon, fat, and cornmeal in the woods. Every woodsman needs Jell-O, or Cokes, or something. But it's time to leave. I'm now so scared by that iodine blast, by the sea, and by the boredom of the cabin. I take $20 worth of perishable food left and spread it out on a big board below the cabin porch for the blue jays and the raccoon and the mouse and the whole lot. Pack up and go. But before I go, I realize this isn't my own cabin. Here's the second signpost of my madness. I have no right to hide Monsanto's rat poison as I've been doing, feeding the mouse instead, as I said. So, like a dutiful guest in another man's cabin, I take the cover off the rat poison, but compromise by simply leaving the box on the top shelf so nobody can complain, and go off like that. But during my absence, you'll see.